Welcome back to another episode of the Fantasy Six Pack Waiver Wire Picks of the Week. I am your host, Jason Beckner. You can find me on Twitter at JRBecks. As you may have noticed, if this is not your first time here, I am riding solo this week. JP decided he was going to ditch me, so here I am, single dose of just myself this week. We are now on to week 19 in many of these fantasy baseball leagues. I'm sure a lot of you are now getting close to your, if not starting your fantasy baseball playoffs in any of your head-to-head leagues. And in any of your roto leagues, we're now getting down to crunch time. The last 4 or 5 weeks here, try to make a move, get up those ranks in those roto leagues. So, we're here to help you out and find some of these guys that are on your waiver wire that we could recommend for you guys. I know if we got this video, if it's the first time here, we're going to go through about 5 or 6 names here that should be available in over half of the leagues out there. However, we also have an accompanying article that comes out on fantasy6pack.net that has about another 20 to 50 names that should be available in your leagues. And if you want to get access to that article and many other great content, you need to sign up to become a premium member at fantasy6pack.net. You can do so by going to fantasy6pack.net/plans. We got not only do you get access to that article, but there's also a ton of other articles you get access to. You get access to our Discord, which is actually this time of year right now with fantasy football starting up. You get tons of access, great access in our Discord. One-on-one questions. People get in there, ask questions. You can ask all types of different questions. You can get access to our all of our analysts there, both baseball and football. These are all great access you can get by becoming a Fantasy Six Pack premium member. Now let's go ahead and jump into some of these names this week. Like I said, we're into week 19. Some of these guys are going to be, we kind of brought up before. We're now into week 19. So the first guy we're talking about here is Nolan Jones, the outfielder of the Colorado Rockies. I believe this was a name that we brought up a few weeks ago. Been really, really good. So far, I'm not sure why, but he's only owned in 18% of leagues still. This is a big-time power bat. Came over from the Cleveland organization, now is in Colorado. Which, what more do you want from a power bat, right, than just being in Colorado? Plays half his games in one of the if not the most hitter-friendly park. And really over this last stretch here, the last 2 weeks now, the last 15 days, slashing 279. I got an OBP of 373, slugging 512. So very close to that very ever-elusive 3-4-5 slash line. He's also got 2 home runs, 7 RBI, 6 runs scored, and it even has a stolen base. So this guy makes a ton of hard contact. Big right-handed bat from the left-handed bat from power bat. Gets a lot of home runs to not just the pull side, but also sprays the ball over the field. So it's a good sign to see that he's getting home runs. Obviously, I can see right now he's looking at the spray chart. He's got about 3 or 4 of his 11 home runs go the opposite way. So it's not just a super heavy pull-hitty bat. Gets on base at a high click, hits at a high average. I think, like I said, we've brought this name up before. If you need power numbers, this is the guy. And he doesn't really even have bad splits either. He has 4 home runs against lefties and 7 of them against righties. So he's got almost a very a little bit more power, obviously, from the right against the righties, which makes sense as a left-handed hitter. But since the All-Star break, he's really taken off. The playing time has really been there. He's got, post All-Star break, 6 home runs. So of his 11. So he's already, basically got the same production he had in the first half of the season. He's got, now here in this basically just about a month. So go out there. Nolan Jones should be available in your leagues. There's no reason that he should be available in 80% of leagues. This guy's a huge power bat in Colorado. Now, the next guy we're talking about here is going to be a pitcher. I know right nowadays, this time of year we're looking for pitching. Always looking for pitching, I should say, not just this time of year. So I'm going to go ahead and we're going to recommend here Brady Singer of the Kansas City Royals. Now, I know this is not the most sexiest of names. They're the most sexiest advanced stats. However, we're talking about a pitcher, that you can get off your waiver in the middle of August. Let me just real quickly get his owner percentage because I believe he should be readily available in a lot of leagues here. Sorry about this. So he's available in 45% of leagues. So just right around half the league, half of your leagues, he should be available. He's had now back-to-back really good starts. This guy, he does not limit the hard hit rate, though. So I will caution you on this a little bit. Doesn't throw very hard. There are some things I like about this, though. He does, limit the walks. So it's always great. He's going to help on your whip. The ERA right now is sitting a little over 5 runs per 9. But again, 108 strikeouts and 128 innings pitched, just under strikeout per inning. Very serviceable in your leagues. Half of your leagues, he is available. I'm sure you're going to need some starting pitcher down the stretch here. And every once in a while, he will throw a gem. He'll get you that close to, I think he's had a couple of 7, 8, 9 strikeout games in the last month and a half. So he should be available in half the leagues out there. I would definitely advise grabbing him while you can. Stream him. Just be very cautious, though. He is a bit of a cherry bomb, as Nick Pollock likes to call him. He will give you some good starts, and he'll also have those blow-up starts. So just be cautious with Brady Singer. But if you are in desperate need of pitching, I can advise Brady Singer. Now, jump back over to the hitting side here, and we're going to talk about Washington Nationals first baseman Joey Meneses. This is a guy that we saw last year come onto the scene and have great success, where he had, I think it was 10 or 13 home runs in a month and a half to end 2022. Now, the beginning of this year has been a little bit of a rough stretch for Joey Meneses. However, in the last 2 weeks, he has been exceptional, especially with the home runs. One thing we saw at the beginning of the year was being able to still maintain that high batting average, but the power numbers were not there. He only had 3 home runs in the first 3 months of the season. In the last 2 weeks, he has now put up, I want to say it was 6 home runs. So this is a guy that's really starting to turn the power on. We're seeing that more and more in the last 2 weeks, which we saw him have in the last. So yeah, he's had 4 home runs, 11 runs scored, 10 RBIs. He's decreased his K percentage while increasing the walk rate. He's all around has been a really good, solid. We've seen him bat for high average all year, which is always great when when you're in a batting average league. It's kind of hard to keep those high ratios, but he wasn't producing a lot in the counting stats. Now we're seeing him start to put up the power numbers, put up the RBI numbers, put up the run totals, and he is available in majority of those leagues out there. So I would highly advise getting out there, picking up Joey Meneses of the Washington Nationals. He's going to provide power and high ratios down the stretch here. He was available in about half the league, so just go ahead and make sure you double check your waiver. There's a good chance that he is available in your league. So from one power hitting infielder, now we're going to talk about somebody that I know JP is missing out on talking about, and that's somebody from his Oakland Athletics. That's going to be Zack Gelof of the Oakland Athletics, second baseman, making his debut here. He's a rookie, so you got to kind of take this with a grain of salt. But he's been playing really well. He comes with a lot of good power speed numbers, and that's basically what his repertoire was, right? Power speed is what I was looking for in fantasy baseball, especially this late in middle of August. Over the last 2 weeks, he's had 5 home runs, 3 stolen bases. So there's the power and speed combo that I'm talking about. 10 runs scored, 8 RBIs, batting .277 with a .993 OPS. As someone that plays second base, I'm sure there's somebody out there that needs a huge upgrade at second base. He's only owned right now in 15% of the leagues. So 85% of you in your leagues out there, you can go ahead and go grab Gelof. He should be available in your league. He's going to provide high ratios. He's going to have a high average. The one thing I will caution him, he is on Oakland Athletics. Therefore, the counting stats as far as runs and RBIs may not be as high as you'd like. But don't forget, with a home run, you're going to get those RBIs and at least run totals. And a home run counts for 4 out of 5 hitting categories. So, and then the 5th one he even kind of provides with the stolen base numbers too. He should have no reason not to run when out in Oakland. They're not playing for anything. They're calling their young guys up, seeing what they have. and they're going to let him kind of just run wild on the paths. So go ahead and grab Gelof while you can before he's taken. I know it's that time of year again. I say it every time, every week. We're looking for starting pitching. So the next guy we're going to talk about here is Gavin Williams of the Cleveland Guardians. Don't look now, but the Cleveland Guardians have produced yet another starting pitching prospect. I believe Gavin Williams is someone that we talked about way back, probably in like week 5 to 10, when he first was called up and made his debut. Gavin Williams is, again, like I said, just another line of prospects that the Cleveland Guardians continue to produce these top tier starting pitchers. When we look at the Savant page, great numbers, a lot of reds. The only thing I have seen here is the walks. The walks are a little bit of an issue, which is not always that concerning coming from a rookie, right? Like a lot of times they come up here and they try to do too much as a rookie pitcher. However, limiting hard hit rate is limiting the exit velocity. Even the ERA and the xWOBA are right above league average. Cleveland, they know what they're doing there with the pitching prospects. He's got right now is a 2.9 ERA in his 9 starts. Is striking out a batter per inning. The whip is really good too at 1.19. So he's limiting the hits, while the walks are a little bit concerning, but limiting the hits. So obviously, if Gavin Williams is available in your league, you need to go out there and grab him while you can. Now, to round out this week's episode, we're going to talk about somebody that you probably are going to scoff at, but he's a wily veteran, and that is Mike Moustakas, third baseman. Seems like he's on like his 10th team of his career, which he probably is. But now he's currently on the Los Angeles Angels after being claimed. He was let go and then brought up and was claimed by the Angels as they need someone to play third base for Rendon. However, if we look at his basically just the month of August, so like the last 2 weeks, basically, not quite, but he has had a hit in all of but 3 games, and that includes many multiple hit games, 2 home runs. So the power is still there, which is what we kind of just used to seeing from Moustakas is the power with not the high average. However, he's kind of proving now they're swinging for a high average, and LA has basically been forced to put him in the heart of that lineup. He's been batting 4th or 5th every start, and he's producing in those lineups. So there should be no reason that you shouldn't have. I'm just get his let me just see if I can find out his ownership numbers here for you, just to give you a little bit more of a. He's only owned in 10% of the leagues, so I can almost guarantee you that he's available in your league. And so the last 15 days, 2 home runs, 10 RBIs, 5 runs scored, slashing 308, 315, slugging 519 with an 834 OPS. I'm sure that you have a spot on your roster for someone like him. Ride these hot batters while you can. This late in the season, we're looking for, especially in roto leagues, we're looking for counting stats. Ratios are not quite obtainable this late in the season. I mean, obviously you can make moves, but it's easier to find counting stat moves. And if you can get some of these hot bats like I talked about with Meneses, Gelof, Moustakas, any of these guys that are available, even Nolan Jones, these guys are available in sometimes 45, 55% of leagues. Get these guys while you can. Get them in your lineups. Get those counting stats up, and then worst comes to worst, grab some of these guys and stash these guys and put them out there. And if you're in a daily league, put them in your on the off days where some of your guys might don't have a game, and then you can fill these guys in. All right, so that's going to go ahead and do it for this week's Week 19 Fantasy Baseball Waiver Wire Picks, brought to you by Fantasy Six Pack. Like I said, head on over to fantasysixpack.net. Subscribe to become a member today. You're going to get access to Connor's article. It's got about 20 to 50 more names, and we will be back next week. Hopefully, JP will be back here joining me again. We'll give you some top tier quality as well, and I will talk to you all